Stop and go.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cherry Clips. Today I will be sharing a movie named The Dude in Me. Simon is a charismatic leader and a gangster of a gang-turned conglomerate. He is married to the beautiful daughter of his boss. One day when he is talking on the phone at the roadside, he is abruptly hit by someone falling from the roof and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he is in the hospital and something is wrong. Everyone who meets him calls him student. An uncle he doesn't know calls him son. In the mirror stands an unknown high school student. The doctor thinks he has suffered a brain injury. After a while, he is shocked to learn that he has changed his soul with a high school student named Dean. He can't accept it, so he comes to his own body and jumps on it in order to have his soul returned. However, he doesn't succeed. Simon goes back home and finds his wife crying. He thinks she's crying because he's hurt.
이거 얼마나 아끼는 건데. 머리가 부러졌잖아.
However, he is wrong. His wife is just sad about her jewelry. When she notices him, she is startled. She has no idea how this young boy entered her house. Simon keeps explaining to her, but she doesn't believe this strange boy and drives him away. He has nowhere to go. Then he accepts his identity as Dean and is taken home by Dean's father. His father prepared a big meal for him. He originally says he doesn't eat such food. However, he eats it up in the blink of an eye.
오빠 잘 먹으면서.
The next day, Dean's father takes him back to school. He doesn't totally adapt to his new identity, so he still behaves like a gangster when he meets his teachers. After he comes into the classroom, he finds his classmates like to bully and laugh at him. At the canteen, some girls are bullying a girl named Jessica. They pour drinks into her meal and force her to eat it. Jessica dares not resist. She has to obey them. But these girls are not satisfied. They overturn Jessica's plate and slop the food all over her clothes. Seeing that, Dean stands up to stop them. Another bully walks to Dean and says, "Who are you? Mind your own business. See me after class." The bully intends to hit Dean again. However, Dean approaches him closer and closer, having no hint of fear. The bully shouts at Dean, "Do you know who you are?" Dean fights back.
이거 미친 새끼가 이 새끼가 또 아이씨.
This shocks the bully. He is confused that Dean is totally different. He is not as timid as before. Seeing this scene, Dean's deskmate is also very shocked. He can't believe the boy in front of him is Dean. One day, Dean's deskmate is being bullied by several boys. At this moment, Dean passes by and hits these boys down easily. According to the video on their phone, Dean knows the truth. One day, these guys bullied Dean and Jessica on the rooftop. Dean fell down from the roof and fell on Simon by accident. Then Dean and Simon exchanged their souls. At night, Dean comes to the hospital to meet his subordinate. He tells his subordinate that he is actually Simon. He explains to him how he had exchanged his soul with the true Dean. But his subordinate doesn't believe him.
황만철 43세 3109 동방전문대 출신 2001년 10월 21일 한호금융 입사 2004년 2월 과장 승진 현재 미혼 네 눈가 흉터 2005년 3월 21일 밤 11시경에 나 대신 깨지수술병에 찔렸지 진성대학병원 가서 20반을 깨맸고 치료비를 38만 5,200원을 내가 결제했다.
The subordinate is startled. He touches the face of Dean, who is eating. Dean gives him a strict eye. According to his eye,
죄송합니다.
the subordinate makes sure that the man in front of him is his boss, Simon. The next day, Dean and Jessica walk together on the way back. They come across Jessica's mother, Molly. Dean is shocked because Molly was his first love. He can't help but call her by her full name.
이선희?
어머,
Molly hits him because she doesn't know the boy is actually Simon. It's impolite for a high school student to call an elder by their full name. In fact, Simon fell in love with Molly when he was young. However, in order to get a promotion, he married the daughter of his boss. At that time, Molly was pregnant, but she didn't tell Simon. On the way back, Dean suddenly realizes something. He asks his subordinate to take a hair from his body in the hospital. Later, he gets Jessica's hair and takes it to make a DNA determination. At last, he knows Jessica is his daughter. In order to get closer to his daughter and prevent her from being bullied, Dean takes her to the gym. He asks his subordinate to be Jessica's coach. In the following days, Dean and Jessica spend a lot of time exercising in the gym. Shortly afterwards, Jessica becomes stronger. Dean loses a lot of weight. He changes his eyeglasses and haircut. Now he turns out to be a handsome boy. Many girls in the school are attracted to him. One day, some girls want to bully Jessica again. But Jessica is different from before. She fights back bravely. Other girls are shocked and scared. Knowing that Dean has helped her daughter in the school, Molly invites Dean to her store and expresses her thanks to him. However, when she serves, she is harassed by a customer. Catching sight of this, Dean is angry. He asks Molly to hide in the kitchen. Then he beats the customer violently. Molly comes out to stop him. At this moment, she finds this boy looks very much like Simon. Later, Dean tells Molly that actually he is Simon and explains to her why his soul has been exchanged. Molly is so shocked that she can't believe such a strange thing. Then she drives Dean out. In order to comfort Molly, Dean invites her to have a talk.
결혼해서 아내까지 있는 사람이에요.
Hearing that, other people all look at him. Maybe they think this young boy is accosting a middle-aged woman. That makes him awkward. At the same time, Jessica is participating in a classmate's birthday party. However, it's a trap. They intend to bully her at the party. Knowing that, Dean drives to the party in a hurry. When he tries to take Jessica away, he is stopped by some villains. Dean has to fight with them. These villains realize they aren't rivals to Dean, so they intend to hurt Jessica. However, at last they are thrown into the swimming pool by Dean. Then Dean successfully saves Jessica. After that, Jessica falls in love with Dean. One day, Jessica makes a confession to Dean. Dean has no idea about it. He runs away immediately. After knowing her daughter likes Dean, Molly is very shocked and emotional. However, she doesn't know how to tell Jessica the young boy is her father, Simon. Then Molly meets Dean and scolds him. "Why do you have Jessica and I involved? Please stay away from us." However, Jessica hears their conversation. She can't believe she herself and her mother have fallen in love with the same boy. Later, the true Dean in the hospital wakes up. He goes back home to meet his father. His father is startled to see him. He's confused why this middle-aged man calls him father. At this moment, Simon, in Dean's body, comes back. He explains the truth to them. Both Simon and Dean dislike the body of each other. Simon says if Dean helps him, he could help him to date Jessica. So they visit Molly's. They pretend that their souls have returned. Simon asks Dean in his body to apologize to Molly for what he had done at his young age. However, at this moment, a foe of Simon's comes in with a gang of ruffians. They fight in the kitchen. Though Simon is very strong, it is difficult to pit the few against the many. He is gradually at a disadvantage. At this moment, Molly comes out holding a gas canister. She roared at these ruffians. Looking at this crazy woman, the ruffians run away in fear. Later, Molly cries sadly and vents her sorrows of the past years. Knowing his daughter has an affair, Simon's father-in-law decides to let Simon inherit his legacy. Simon's wife is very sad. Considering that he is still in Dean's body, Simon tries to let Dean solve the matter of legacy. They originally communicate with earphones. However, they lose contact due to the malfunction of their devices. So Dean starts to negotiate with Simon's father-in-law according to his own will. He thinks Simon should be together with Molly, so he gives up all legacy and says he has no regrets. Then he turns around and walks away without hesitation. Simon thanks Dean because he made the correct decision for him. However, at this moment, Simon's wife is driving a car to run into them. Later, Simon is taken to the hospital. Beside Simon's stretcher, Dean suddenly faints. Then their souls come back to their own bodies. At last, Dean becomes Jessica's boyfriend and a celebrity in school. He also has a handsome appearance and a strong body. Simon and Molly also start to date. They live and run a restaurant together. Then the movie ends. It's a happy ending. Okay, that's all for today's movie. If you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe with the bell. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.
Stop and go.